Hey guys, welcome back to another ADSR and massive synth tutorial. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel and you want to do that, you can do that at youtube.com/ADSR tuts. So that was a little demo of the sound we'll be making. It is this one right here. The name of it I have tentatively is Pluck Electric Piano. So I was working on a sound set and I was trying to come up with sounds that I could arpeggiate and do things like that, and I came across this really simple, but I think it's a really effective sound because it has this expressive nature where it's velocity sensitive in the cutoff. Sorry, I just made a bunch of noise doing that. So you'll see that not all of these notes are the same velocity. Like the red is a harder, so it's louder than that, and you can hear the difference in those two. It's because I have modulated the cutoff filter, the amount of the cutoff being opened in one of the filters in massive using the velocity macro. So this was just a bass, just some random bass to add some low end. And you'll see that I have some third-party processing on. I have a channel EQ, which is just cutting out some lows and boosting a little bit of the highs. You can do that in any DAW. And I have the LFO tool doing some really slight sidechain compression, and these are just drums. So let's jump right into it. Let me mute this track, and then this is just the stock sound in massive. So first things first, in Oscillator 1 we're going to take the pulse saw, the virtual analog wavetable, put the position at about halfway, keep the pulse width up and the amp all the way up, and keep the pitch where it is. And then we're gonna that's actually all we're going to do for the oscillators. That's all this sound is. It's one oscillator. So this one sound, one oscillator. It's kind of that idea that in sound design less can be more a lot of times. Just because you have 3 oscillators doesn't mean you always have to use it. So that's the sound that we have. Moving right along, let's go to our noise oscillator and change the white to bright and turn the amp up just a little. It's about right there. You can barely hear it. Let's turn on the feedback and turn it up just a hair. So next, let's go to our filter 1 and activate the low pass 2. Turn the cutoff all the way down and the resonance all the way down, and turn this mix 1 and mix 2 to about halfway. And you might be asking why I turned the cutoff all the way down, because it's not going to do anything. It's because I'm going to modulate that later with an envelope. Then in filter 2, we're going to take the low pass filter and turn the cutoff all the way to 0 again. Turn the resonance down. Turn this slider up, so this slider actually lets some sound through into our mix. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the velocity macro and we're going to modulate our cutoff filter. We're going to make this a little bit heavy on the mix 1 side. So what that's doing is that's allowing those notes that I played a higher velocity. It's allowing more cutoff filter to it's allowing it to open up on those notes, which makes it more expressive to my ears. Now we're going to, let's get some of the effects, because the effects are a big part of the sound. So in FX1, I'm going to activate the sync delay, turn the dry wet all the way down, and turn the damp all the way up, maybe just a little under 100%, and turn the feedback a good ways up. And you can keep the ratios how they were. And now I'm going to clear this macro because I don't want any vibrato on the sound. I'm going to take this and create just a quick FX mix. And for FX2, I'm going to take I'm going to activate the reverb, turn the dry wet down, do the same thing. Just turn that up a little with our FX mix. And we're going to just turn the size up. You can do that to taste. I have it pretty intense on this sound. Turn the density all the way out and the color all the way out. And then for on this oscillator tab, I'm turning the attack and the decay down in the internal envelope, but I don't want any, we don't need any of the restart via gate or anything for the sound. So what I'm going to do with this LFO is I'm going to take the rate and turn it up to about 65-70%. And we're going to keep the curve on the sine curve, and we're going to do the same thing here, and we're going to keep the amp all the way up. And then take this decay down to about halfway so you get like a nice looking little triangle. And we're going to take that and modulate our pitch to about, just up to about to about 0.16. Let's take the velocity control, and what we're going to do is, so as I hit those harder notes, this really subtle kind of variance in the pitch will start to go to quicker rate. That's a tongue twister for me. I think that's kind of a cool effect for it. So now let's move on to our envelopes, and I'm going to turn the master volume up real quick for everything. So I didn't use envelope 1 for anything in this. I did use envelope 2 to modulate the cutoff filter for the cutoff for filter 1. So let's just take that and drag that in now. And for the shape, what you're going to do is you're going to turn the let's turn the release up a good ways. Turn the decay down. To just under halfway, and we're going to take the level and turn that down to where this tip is kind of right above this halfway mark on the key tracking and the velocity. And then on the attack, that line should be right in between this arrow and like the save box. And let's take the level and turn it down just a hair. So you can see what having the level up all the way does. It kind of makes it more of a lead type sound than more of a subtle kind of a pluck or key sound. And now let's go to envelope 4. And we're going to turn the attack all the way down on this one. Keep the level all the way up. The decay to about half, a little under halfway maybe. The level to about halfway as well. And then turn the release up a little bit. So you can hear if I just have the release all the way down, it's kind of like a pluck. And with this release up, it kind of lets through just a little bit of the sound after the MIDI information is passed. And that's an important step in that sound. It kind of gives it that ambient feel. And now I'm going to go to the EQ, and I'm going to just turn up the high shelf and the frequency a little. And that is pretty much it, guys. Key things to take away from this that you can use and kind of apply to any sound is when you're using these, when you use the two filters and you have it set up to parallel, what you can do is like let's just take this and change it to daft, for instance. So that means that for the majority of my sound, if I turn off filter 1, you can hear that that's just kind of the sound. So if I turn off filter 2, it's not as interesting of a sound because my mix is kind of dominant towards filter 1. The interesting thing that's happening is modulating with the velocity control in filter 2. So that's just kind of a run-of-the-mill sound, and that's where it gets interesting. You could use Scream even. Alright guys, so if you have any questions or comments, just let me know, and I'll try to get back to them as soon as I can. And if you haven't headed over to massivesynth.com, which is www.massivesynth.com, and checked out the other tutorials, you should do that. There's tons of tutorials. We're making sounds from famous popular songs. We're making original sounds, or just getting under the hood and showing you how Massive works. And there's tons of courses, presets, things like that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.